If you listen to podcasts, scroll social media, or sit in on a modern parenting class, you hear the same themes. Gentle parenting, total emotional attunement, always validating, never raising your voice, child-centered schedules, child-centered decisions, and child-centered homes. Good parenting now is described as highly emotionally aware, very collaborative, deeply focused on how every interaction feels to the child. And some of that is beautiful. We needed better language for emotions, trauma, nervous systems, and the damage of harsh or shaming parenting. But here's the catch. These ideas are being treated as if they have always been the standard. And if every parent in every generation and every decade should be graded by the 2026 rulebook. Now, what was considered good parenting then? Well, when many of us were raising teens, the playbook was different. Good parenting meant you showed up, you kept a roof over their heads, you fed them, you knew where they were. You set curfews and consequences. You tried to prepare them for a hard world. We heard, kids need structure. You are not their friend. You are teaching them responsibility. We were told, homework before play. Respect adults. Finish what you start. If you provided, protected, and kept them out of trouble, you were considered a good parent. Emotional language was a bonus, not a baseline requirement. That doesn't mean we did everything right. It just means we were playing by a different set of expectations than the ones being preached today. Now, a lot of our adult kids are looking back at those years with today's standards in their hands. They are saying things like, you were too strict. You didn't validate me. Your tone was harsh. And sometimes they are right that something was missing. Sometimes we were too stressed, too sharp, too focused on survival to be as emotionally present as they needed. But there's a difference between honest reflection on what hurt them and regrading our entire parenting history with a rule book that didn't exist at the time. That is called Monday morning quarterbacking. It's sitting in a quiet, climate-controlled booth with instant replay, judging a play that happened in the rain, in real time, with bodies flying everywhere. We raised kids in marriages that were falling apart, in single-parent homes, on tight budgets, with far less mental health language and far less support. We were doing the best we knew with the tools and values we had. And naming that isn't making excuses. It's telling the truth about context. Now, how to stand in the gap without drowning in blame. So how do we live here? In this gap between then and now, without either getting defensive or drowning in retroactive blame. I think it starts with two sentences that can sit side by side. I did the best I knew at the time, and there are things I'd do differently if I could go back. You can say, I'm sorry my tone landed as harsh. I was under pressure. I didn't know how to name, and you carried some of that. I wish I had the language to sit with your big feelings instead of trying to fix them so fast. That's owning what you can. But you can also say, I won't agree that everything I did was bad just because it doesn't fit in 2026 parenting trends. I won't erase my sacrifices and faithfulness to fit into a story where I'm the villain and you were only a victim. You are allowed to honor your intentions and your effort, even as you acknowledge your impact. You don't have to pick between, I was a perfect parent and I ruined my kids. There is a third way. I was a human parent. I loved you. I got some big things right. I got some important things wrong. I'm willing to talk about both. That's how we stand in the gap. We let our kids tell how it felt without letting them rewrite who we were. We let today's wisdom refine us without letting it condemn the version of us who didn't have that wisdom yet. And we bring the whole mess, our attempts, our regrets, our questions, back to a God whose standard has always been 17 inches, even when the cultural rule book keeps changing. If this is where you are living, you're not alone. You don't have to defend your entire past, and you don't have to carry all the blame either. There is space in Christ to tell the truth and to be held in grace at the same time.